Here's why you play Alpha, the Blade of Enmity, in the EXP lane. First off, he has excellent sustainability, allowing him to stay in fights longer with his built-in lifesteal. He also has high true damage output, which helps him shred both tanks and squishy enemies. With his great crowd control, he can lock down enemies and control fights effectively. Lastly, Alpha has good mobility thanks to his ultimate, allowing him to initiate fights or chase down fleeing enemies. However, he is weak to high crowd control, making him vulnerable against teams with high CC. He is also mana dependent, meaning he can run out of resources quickly if not managed properly. Lastly, mobile heroes can counter him since they can avoid his skill shots and prevent his passive from activating effectively. Alpha's passive ability, Beta Advance. Whenever Alpha uses a skill, Beta is summoned to the target. If Beta hits the same target twice, it locks onto them. When Alpha deals damage to a locked on target, Beta will fire a laser, dealing true damage and briefly applying a slow. Alpha's first skill, Rotary Impact, unleashes an energy wave in the target direction, dealing physical damage to enemies' hits and slowing them for a short duration. Beta then follows up with a strafe attack, dealing true damage to enemies along the same path. Alpha's second skill, Force Swing, swings his blade in a fan-shaped area, dealing physical damage and healing himself for each enemy hit. Beta then strafes the same area, dealing additional true damage. Alpha's ultimate ability, Spear of Alpha, calls Beta to dive to the target location, dealing physical damage and stunning them. Alpha then charges towards the same area, locking up all enemies in his path and carrying them to the landing point. He then slams down, dealing additional physical damage and slowing enemies for a short duration. Beta then follows up with multiple true damage attacks in the same area. A typical skill combo for Alpha is to start with his ultimate to initiate and stun enemies, followed up by his second skill to deal AoE damage and heal while Beta adds true damage. Then use his first skill to slow enemies and further amplifies Beta's damage. Continue attacking to trigger his passive and maximize his damage output. Moving on to builds, Agility builds Huff Boots, Sky Piercer, Sea Halberd, War Axe, Blood Wings, and finally Rose Gold Meteor. These are the emblems that go along with this build. As for battle spells, the best spells for Alpha EXP is probably Execute, which helps finish off low health enemies, or Vengeance, which reduces incoming damage and reflects some back, making him harder to kill. Alpha dominates heroes who lack mobility, as they cannot avoid his skills or Beta's attacks. He performs well against Layla and Ixia, who struggle to reposition when Alpha engages. However, Alpha struggles against high mobility heroes who can dodge his skill shots, like Cho and Gushen, as they can easily evade his attacks, preventing him from stacking his passive effectively. Alpha pairs well with heroes that have strong crowd control, helping him land his skills more easily. Heroes like Vexana and Selena provide CC setups that let him maximize his damage output. You should prioritize upgrading his second skill first for more healing and damage. Upgrade his first skill as a secondary priority for added poke and slow, and always upgrade the ultimate whenever available. Playing Alpha effectively requires a good understanding of timing and positioning. His ultimate is his main initiation tool, so use it to catch key enemies in team fights. After engaging, use his second skill to sustain, while Beta continuously deals true damage. Be mindful of mobile heroes, as they can easily dodge your skills, so aim them carefully. In lane, poke enemies with his first skill to activate Beta's follow-up attack and slowly wear them down. During fights, focus on hitting multiple enemies with his second skill to maximize healing. Lastly, manage your mana carefully, as Alpha tends to burn through it quickly. Consider using spell level items to enhance his sustain and survive longer in extended fights.